So in a season where we had to find small wins and small victories, uh, I think there's some positives that come out of a game that was 17-point difference, and we had some really nice small wins. This third and fourth quarter, if you just go into third and fourth quarter alone, it was a tie game. You know, we would get it cut to 10 and then make a mistake and they'd make us pay. And so we can have our small wins, but really what it is that we're playing the best team in the Atlantic 10. They've proven that by winning the A10 today, and congratulations to George Mason. I think they're incredibly well coached. Vanessa, their head coach, is a friend, and I think that she has done a great job there, and I think her whole staff has. They're a very good coaching staff, and they make you pay. They're an experienced, well-coached team, and we are a very inexperienced team that continues to turn the ball over, but shows flashes of brilliance, shows flashes of positivity. And so, today is pretty much that's what it wraps up into. It's been a season that we've never expected. I've been at Duquesne 19 years, and in 18 full seasons, we've had one losing season. I have not forgotten how to coach. We will be back to where our usual standard is after this A10 tournament. And I'm really, frankly, very excited to work with this group again. I told them in the locker room that I don't think that I've had a more connected, optimistic, positive team in my 19 years here, of them taking care of one another off the floor, of positivity. On Tuesday when we had the Rick Pitino tweet about 13 players and 5 coaches and a priest, and none of them talked to each other at pregame meal because they were all on their phones, we saw that tweet come up, and our kids had just gone to pregame meal, and all 13 players that traveled sat at a 10-person table with no phone and sat there for more than the time that they needed to, just being together and connected. And our future is bright, but our future has to have some things happen, and we've got to grow, and I believe that we will.
Dan, you got off to a really good start, and then the inbounds pass and their pressure really piled on. Just how, as you look forward next week, do you hope to just have quicker responses to find more success?
Well, you shorten your bench so that you don't put anybody in who's not ready to play. You can't put someone in who is just frankly not ready to play basketball at that moment. And I think that's what we had happen. And I think it changed the early complexion of the game because we had laid the wood and we were up 8-2 and getting some pretty good shots. But it didn't cost us the game. What cost us the game is a lack of offensive rebounding, finishing around the rim, and very frankly, they're a really good basketball team. So you can't make 20 mistakes and let them have 12 more shots. And at one point, it was 20 more shots. We started to gang rebound in the third and fourth quarter, and you can see that the score was tied over the third and fourth. We did not gang rebound in the first and the second that was effective enough. And so those are the points where we have to grow.
A definite positive, Dan, was Gabby's double-double. Of course, Raina double-double as well. But just as those two continue to find their way and just find happiness together, just what were you most pleased with them this afternoon?
Well, I think Gabby had a sneaky good game, being 5 for 7 with 10 rebounds and 12 points, 2 assists, and 2 steals. She handled point guard duties pretty well. But, she had 10 defensive rebounds, which is absolutely fantastic. But whether it's her or Gabby or it's Alexis, they're hanging around the rim. They're hanging around the arc too long, and they have to go and rebound. And so I'm very happy that Gabby had 10 defensive rebounds. That's fantastic. But there's a teaching point there also that she could have had another 2 rebounds. I'm not trying to be greedy. I think 2 is reasonable that she could have gotten from an offensive standpoint. And she's hanging on the arc too much. And we'll show that on film and use that as a teaching point. But a very sneaky good game by Gabby. And very frankly, probably the most impressive stat to me is her playing almost 37 minutes because Gabby is not necessarily healthy. And to gut that performance out, very good performance by Gabby. I thought Raina was also very, very good today. But again, we can't have 5 turnovers. And I believe 2 of them were on charges. And here's the thing. I can live with charges. That's being aggressive going to the basket. But, some of the other ones, they need to be eliminated because that's one less possession that we have against the best team in the league.
What's preparation going to look like for you guys heading into the A10 tournament?
So, we're gonna be who we are, and we're gonna be optimistic and determined. We are going to play at noon against VCU, is what I've been told, and we'll start our preparation for that tomorrow. From a coach's standpoint, we've played them twice already, so we have a pretty good idea of what they are. The difference is that the first time they were under their previous head coach, and now they have a different person being the head coach. So they're in a unique situation where you don't know who's staying or going there, and they might all bond together and win one for the Gipper kind of thing, or they may go the other way. You just don't know. But the biggest thing about it is we shouldn't even worry about VCU. We need to worry about our corrections. When we're turning the ball over consistently 20 times a game, we have a lot of film to watch, to have growth, to have a greater understanding of how we can get more shots by turning it over less. So what will happen is we'll get tomorrow off. The kids have worked really, really hard. And that's one of the other things I want to talk about. When you are in January, your practices are typically an hour and 15 to an hour and 30 minutes. You get to February, and they're usually an hour. Your kids are usually worn down. Our women have been practicing an hour and a half to 2 hours plus film all through February with zero complaint, only wanting to learn and only wanting to grow. And their bodies have really held up. Gabby's injury has nothing to do with our practice. And so, we're fresh physically. I think a day off will be good for us mentally. I believe that locker room thinks that they can win. And I think there's a lot of people in the Atlantic 10 that don't really want to see us play, and really on that second and third day, if we can get to that second and third day, we become a little bit dangerous because you don't know what we'll do. Will we play with flow? Will we run Nova? Will we press you for 40 minutes? And we're capable of doing any of those things. And so I'm really excited to go to Richmond. I'm really excited to get the chance to play VCU. As a head coach, I have to prepare for the entire week. Our staff and our players will prepare for that very first game against VCU, and that'll start with Monday when we get on the floor at 9 a.m.
Dan, we've talked a lot about what the team has meant to you and what the team has taught you, but what have you learned about yourself through this process, Dan?
That's a great question. Maybe a little too soon to process it right now because our season's not over, and I just told him in the locker room that our season can last as long as you want it to. And the great thing is it's all basketball. We're mentally and physically fresh, and now this week is all basketball. There's no midterms. Everything is about basketball because we're on spring break. What have I learned? Is that that's what you asked?
Yourself, yes.
I never looked at the standings one time in January or February, not once. And I think that helped preserve my sanity through January. I only looked ahead while learning from the mistakes that we were making as a staff, as a head coach, players, whatever it may be. I've learned that, you have to remain positive or you're going to have a toxic environment. And, there's this TV show called Ted Lasso, and I've only seen a couple clips of it, but people keep telling me a lot of stuff about it. And apparently a lot of things I say are kind of like that. You have to remain positive when you have such a young group. I think that's probably what I've learned more than anything is to remain positive when things get rough, but also, you're a dealer in hope. That's being positive. But you have to be dealing reality. And so we have to correct, we have to teach, and especially with a young group. And I'm really proud to say that I think that we did that this year. Are we proud of our record? By no stretch. That is not the standard at Duquesne in any sort of way. But do I think that we have a team that is talented and with growth and getting older and staying together, that we could be of great success with a piece or two added? 100%. 100%. So what have I learned? I've learned that experience matters on a team that has very little to any experience. I didn't realize how much we needed that. I've said before that we have always, in my 19 years at Duquesne, had an all-league point guard. From Christy Little to Abel Robinson, Vanessa Abel, Nina Aho, Libby Basilak to Meg McConnell. I don't think there's any team in the Atlantic 10 has had an all-league point guard nearly every single season. And we've done that for 19 years. We have to have a point guard. And we did not have that this year, and I think that really affected us. And that blame goes with me, because I'm the GM or recruiting coordinator or whatever we're calling that these days in college basketball, and I didn't see the need. I thought that we could piecemeal it together, and what I've learned is we definitely need to go out and sign a proven with production point guard, which we will do. Every year, when the season ends, I take some time to reflect, because you build repeatable systems that you want to refine at the end of the season. So when we get to right after the Final Four, because the rest of March after we're done playing, and for us, most of March has always been about playing. Last year we played almost till April. This year will be a little bit differently. When our season ends, hopefully we're in the NCAA tournament, we're still playing third week of March. But if that does not happen, we'll have to sit down with each player individually and see what we're looking to do, because everyone becomes a free agent. And then when we get right after the Final Four, I'll be able to sit down and reflect on those repeatable systems and where we need to refine it to the talents and the skills of the players that we have. And we need to see what we really need. And right now what the identification of that is we need a proven, productive point guard. And then we're going to have some really challenging conversations with, if you're going to come back, these are the things where we need to see you have improvement and where you're going to have growth. And I'm sure they're going to look forward to those conversations, because we've already kind of had them. And I'm looking forward to that also, because challenging conversations builds growth. And I'm looking for us to continue our growth. We're not really going to take a long off season. The kids don't want that. We don't want that as a staff. We want to take a week off and get right back at it whenever this does end, so that we can continue to grow and get better as basketball players to win next year. It was a long answer. I really appreciate everyone supporting women's basketball at Duquesne University. We did not meet our standard this year, but we will, and we will fight. And we will be in the A10 tournament, and I hope everyone tunes in to watch that. But to all the people that came to games this year and continued to support us during some of the tough times, we really appreciate it. We did not hear outside noise. There might have been, there might not have been, I'm not sure. But our fans stayed loyal to us, and we greatly appreciate you all. Thank you. Thank you for supporting women's basketball.